So there are different approaches I could suggest, and you just got to feel into it. But the way of looking at a thought and what a thought is, um, and as I described in my chapter, and sort of releasing the binding of the next thought again and again and again does work. You just have to be ruthless about what a thought actually is. So when you just close your eyes or don't close your eyes and you sit there for a moment and you say, okay, how do I get back to, okay, that's a thought. Back to is a thought. So what's here if there's no back to? There's no forward, there's no backward. Like, what is here? What's next? Just wait for the next thought, you know? Well, I don't know what to do. I have to know what to do to get back. Oh, okay. I feel like I have to do something. That's a thought too. What else is here right now? Right. Just be ruthlessly honest with yourself. Oh, I'm starting to feel a little bit of fear or discomfort. That's also a thought, right? There may be a sensation, there may be sensations going on, but there's always sensations going on. There's sounds, there's all the sense experience. But a thought about that, a label about that wants to start to turn it into the next story, that's a thought. So what's here when that thought's gone? Just waiting for the next thought, right? And you start to feel couple important points here. One is what often happens at this point when you really can do that. You know what it means to anticipate a thought, notice a thought rising, or you're grasping and letting it go. One of two things often happens. One is, well, I shouldn't say one of two. Many things can happen, but what the gist of what happens is we get identified with a subtler thought than we're used to, right? So something like you start to identify as the one watching thoughts. That's also a thought, right? So don't get caught up in that. That, if you start to perceive I'm the watcher, okay, I'm just watching thoughts, and oh, that's another thought, right? So don't get caught with that. And then the other one is people will tell themselves this story. They'll say, okay, I can get to this place where I'm watching thoughts rise, watching thoughts fall. It gets very quiet. It's probably just consciousness, but there's not really labels. But then I get stuck and I can never get past this. That's the next thought, but they don't realize it, right? It's very common to get that, right? Oh, it's the story that gives you something to hold on to, right? Even if it's an annoying story or a frustrating story that, oh, I always get this far. And, okay, well, that's the thought that's happening right now. What's here without that thought? Who are you without that thought right now? And then just orient to whatever comes next. Doesn't matter if it's a thought or not, just orient to whatever's there. Until you start to feel like you're in this, it's almost like being in hold this lightly. It's like being in a process of creation. It's like being in the process of unbinding, or you are the process of unbinding. I'm trying to describe something now that's not describable. It's not a thought. It's not a mental process, but it's an experience. It's experiential. And you know this. Great. That's perfect. That's where I want you to be. Just go there. There's nothing else you need to do except for be alert for any binding thoughts, any storyline starting, any solidifying of a separate self beginning, and just stay there. And if you need or want to introduce a question, it's okay. But remember, you're not trying to solve the question with another thought. You're just using the question to guide you back into that unbinding experience, let's say. And it could be anything, really. But what is moo is a really common one. But what is here that's not a thought? What is here that the mind cannot touch? What is my original nature before I was born?